Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Oh, it feels so good to be here in studio after a victory over Missouri, and Texas A&M is 9-0, OB.
That's right. In fact, I think this week, for just this week, you should change your name from David Nuño to David 9-0.
David 9-0 here on TexAgs Live. And then next week, I could be Tenyo.
Tenyo, yeah.
David Tenyo. That's not as good as 9-0.
Yeah.
I was just trying to.
Who could change their name to sound like 10-0?
10-0. Zay Richard.
No, there may not
10,
be. They're not.
No, there isn't one. Yeah.
Yeah, there may not be one.
We have to ask ChatGPT to help us with this one.
Well, I'll call it 10 and Olin.
10 and Olin.
Yeah.
So 10-0, a 10-win team minimum. I'm trying to take a line from your Learn, Loved, and Loathe.
Okay.
The Aggies are a 10-win team minimum.
Yeah, very minimum. In fact, I expect a lot more. I expect 12-0, to be honest. But yes, look, I know coaches, they take them one game at a time. You don't overlook anyone. They ain't losing to Sanford. So it's at least.
This ain't your old A&M team, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't even know if the old A&M teams lose to this Sanford team. They're 1-9.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is going to be a 10-win season.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a great chance.
But this game against Missouri, OB, look, Missouri, and I'm not saying this to make myself feel better about A&M, okay? I'm just going to tell you, Missouri eye test is better than I gave them credit for based on who they've beaten or played this season. In pregame warmups, we were out there, and I'm looking at these players, and I'm looking at that defensive line. I'm like, oh, these are men.
Yeah.
These are real men. And that game, A&M wins by 21. And we're watching the game unfold real time, and I'm like, God, this is a lot of hard. This is like they're playing football in the beach, right, where it's just harder to run fast. It just seems something about it just seemed a little bit harder to do, and I credit that talent on the other side of the ball. Missouri had a nice team.
Yeah, Missouri, they're good. I mean, you know, they're almost. I mean, they're on the 1 yard line. They're 1 yard away twice 1 yard away from beating Vanderbilt, or at least tying them, right? The one time when Purbulla got hurt on the fourth down, then the late pass.
The Hail Mary that almost won it,
that got to the one. Let's see, and they're right there with Alabama.
Yeah.
And,
I'm sorry, something caught my attention.
And you go out there and beat them by 21, and quite frankly, you also lost a fumble in the red zone.
Here's the one. I'm sorry, I have to cut it. Olin Buchanan.
Buchanan?
Yeah.
Okay. But they still don't have the 10-0.
No, but still, Olin Buchanan. Sorry. Good job on the YouTube page, WD R40 or WD 6919. Got to make sure I get the 19 in there. All right. Sorry, you were saying.
Well, you know, they played really strong with Alabama. They played really strong with Vanderbilt. And then they're, you know, everybody's, it seems like each week is trying to discount what A&M does. Oh, yeah, but they started a freshman quarterback. And yes, that's true. The same freshman quarterback that a lot of people were hyping up last week.
Yeah.
You know, you went out and you dominated. By the way, that freshman quarterback, does it matter that you had a freshman quarterback on the defense? Because that was a defense that.
No, I think it matters a little bit because they were constantly having the punt, right? That offense, other than the run game, was not good. And we'll get into that, by the way. And T-Dub 87 on the YouTube page, 9-0. Well, we need to talk about A&M's run defense. I want to start optimistic before we go pessimistic. Let's talk about the things we really like.
I got something to tell you about A&M's run defense.
Okay.
You know, they got to stop giving up the big play. The very first play of the game,
big play,
40-yard run.
Yep.
Okay. The last time Ahmad Hardy, I don't want to say Brooks. That's an old Virginia linebacker. The last time he ran it, he got 45.
Yep.
That's what, 85 yards
on 2 plays.
The rest of the game, they rushed for 122 yards on like 34 carries. That's about a 3.5, 3.6 average per carry against a team that came in ranked among the nation's best running game. So they're going to get some plays. You got to keep them from getting the long ones. But you got to understand, if a team's really good running the football, they're going to get some plays. I don't like the fact that you gave up the 40 and the 45, but in between those pieces of bread, the meat of the sandwich was about 3.7 yards a carry.
Right. Well, I'll say this. They were better than I thought. I thought A&M would win, and I thought it would be a close game, but I thought the offense would do more from a Missouri standpoint. I didn't think that we were going to see Peyton Thorne from 2 years ago. Hopefully he doesn't become Peyton Thorne from the last time A&M played them next year when A&M hosts them. But I didn't think he would be that bad because I thought he looked pretty good against Vanderbilt. He did not look good against A&M. Credit to A&M. And that atmosphere actually was pretty electric. I had thought that
well, of course, they think they have a great team.
Yeah.
And the number 3 team in the country is coming in. So they're going to be really excited about it.
Yeah.
Of course they did. And you know what? I always say emotion can take you for a half, can carry you a half. It's amazing the way A&M has this ability to dominate the second half.
Our standard has been changed forever because I'm watching this year. A little bit has to do with BAS, okay? But I think I'm watching, like, Marcel throws for 221 on a couple scores. Ruben runs for over 100. You get 2 sacks, 2 strip sacks, and I still think, God, I don't think they played that good. And that's a credit to, I believe, how good they've gotten, and also how highly invested we all are because each play matters right now. It really feels like every play matters differently than in years past.
They would have stopped a Missouri touchdown if not for a offsides penalty, right? Right?
Yeah.
And then, like the last touchdown was, if it wasn't garbage time, you could smell the garbage. I thought the defense overall played really well. I think the freshman quarterback got rattled by a pass rush.
Yep.
I have seen more experienced quarterbacks get rattled by this pass rush. And I want to make one last point. About
you can make many points.
The fact that there are those out there, but they still discount A&M because they won a close game against Arkansas, and yet I'm watching Indiana be celebrated
for a close game against Penn State.
Both teams aren't very good. Both teams fired their coach.
Yeah,
A&M won by 3, but we all know that Arkansas scored that touchdown with 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, I think it's because people want to pick what lane they want to be in, and they're not going to get out of that lane, and they're going to be like, yeah, but Penn State was a top 10 team. Then give us the same respect about the LSU win.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So it is funny the way seems like there's a, what's the word I'm looking for?
But that's okay. Embrace it.
It is.
You know what? When you're good, poke holes because we're going to just keep on winning. No.
Just keep winning. It doesn't matter what anybody says as long as you keep winning.
And this team has given me no reason to believe that. What do they do in the fourth quarter of games?
They choke them out. They suffocate them like that. Aggie Conda.
It's like we've prepared this bit. We have it. This is just organic.
Yeah, but I don't want to use the whole "you can't run, son" after they ran.
Yeah.
But with the exception of the first carry and the last carry by Hardy, you don't want none because you can't run, son. With the exception of those two.
Let me read this because I think people hear things the way they want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course they do. David, enjoy this season. Let's not win a natty and sit around saying, "Oh, we didn't play that well." Please, Ags are winning handily. Let's appreciate it now. So let me explain to you, Michael Lucchese, which I've seen you on the YouTube page before. This is a 3-hour radio show, 15 hours a week, and that's the minimum. We've got NIL interviews, we've got luchador, we've got no layups, we've got moving the goalposts. During that, we're going to have a discussion. And a discussion is the good, the bad, the ugly, and mostly it's beautiful. This is a 10 out of 10 team so far, 9 out of 9. All right? And I appreciate it, but we have to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and there's mostly good to talk about. It's actually a compliment what we're saying, that there's things to clean up,
yes,
and they're still winning by 21 on the road against a team that, yes, they're on their next quarterback. I get it. But let's give them their props of where they've been all year long.
Right. So, look through it all through the lens of, I used to say, can this win an SEC championship? Now I'm saying, can you look through it through the lens, will this win you a national championship? And maybe, but I would feel a lot better, we all would, if, hey, you don't give up the 40 and the 45-yard run.
Yeah.
Now, maybe those were held to 5 and 10 yards. And then great. And by the way, the first play, what happened, they actually defended it pretty well, but one of the linebackers got caught inside because that's where the play went. So and Hardy was able to pop it out, and then there was no outside contain. That's an easy fix.
Yep. But look, and somebody talked about the coffee tasting better on the YouTube page earlier. When you win games, I don't care how you win it. I don't care if they won by a point. If they would have won that game 27-26, I'd still be extremely excited about where we're going. There's less traffic when you're 9-0. People are nicer to you. People send you compliments about the show as opposed to, I hate you, I miss Gabe. It's completely a different vibe when the football team wins.
But, you know, Mrs. Bach, you know, that's what she's going to do, you know.
I miss Gabe too sometimes. But hey, you can watch Gabe later on today. No, today, Wednesday, with Billy Liucci. Yeah.
Luchenbach, Texas.
Luchenbach, Texas. All right, so I'm actually more, when I'm being critical, I'm actually excited. It's like, look, there was a couple of these issues, and they still went on the road against a ranked team and beat them by 21 points. That's a compliment.
Yeah, it's like when my wife says, Olin, she tells me I'm handsome because she's my wife. She's, but what if you lost 10 pounds? Then you'd be hot. So, yeah.
Well, slow down.
Thanks. Well, it's in her eyes.
Yeah.
It's always in the eye of the beholder.
Don't ever try that in reverse. Don't say that to a woman because that'll get you killed.
I never do.
But you don't have to.
But then she's not fat like I am. But anyway, that's the point is, you know, you can always do something to look a little better.
Yeah.
You know?
But there's a lot that looks great.
Yeah. That's same with me.
How about we give some, well, in the next segment, I want to go through some awards. Okay. Or maybe in the next segment. Eventually, we'll go through some awards. But like the things, we could talk about like magical seasons. You can remember moments.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you an example that will upset some people in our audience because Richard Zane's a Dodgers fan. But the 2017 World Series run for the Astros, I was there every step of the way. Okay. And there are certain highlights and off the field moments that are going to be iconic with that team. You can make your trash can jokes. That's fine. That we will always remember. Okay. Like I'm going to give an example. Game 1 of the World Series. The Astros are losing to the Dodgers. It's like the 7th or 8th inning, and they moved the media to the tunnels to get ready for the interview, and they had a little TV going on. I was in the tunnel right by the Astros dugout, okay? So I can hear everything that's happening. This was the comeback victory where Verlander is yelling at the team, come on, guys, we're still in it. They ended up winning the game, and obviously you know what happened. It was Game 2, not Game 1. Game 2 of the World Series. And it was just crazy. It changed the trajectory of it. There's some things that happened off the field that I saw. This team, we're going to remember the the 2 Dalton Brooks plays from this year, right?
Yeah.
We're going to remember the Mario Craver touchdown against Notre Dame.
Yeah, we will.
Right? We're going to remember several plays from the LSU game. We're going to remember Cassius Howell barking and just being, right? That's what iconic teams do. Teams that have a certain place in your heart, you're going to remember momentum, game-defining, season-defining plays. America.
Yeah, I absolutely understand your point. By the way, I just got a text from her where she said, make it 20.
Did she really text that?
But she texted me.
She loves you.
No, she just texted me about 10 pounds. But I thought it'd make it sound funnier if she said, hey, make it 20.
Oh, Hollywood, I just blocked you from the YouTube page, Houston Cheaters. I know stuff about the Dodgers, too. Anyway.
They didn't win a championship that year, but in 2012.
Moments that we're going to remember no matter what.
You know, Johnny Manziel catching the fumble that and throwing it to Swope.
The Ole Miss game. Yeah, Swope had several plays that season. Yes, exactly right.
The long touchdown to nail it down against Louisiana Tech. You know, there's those, and you just mentioned, you mentioned 4 or 5 of them, and you didn't. You talked about Craver against Notre Dame. You didn't talk about Bocature.
Oh yeah, the game-winning touchdown.
So
right?
yeah, it is so far. It's magical.
Yeah, it's magical. Enjoy it.
Keep the magical.
And hope
the A&M, awesome and magical. I couldn't come up with anything but awesome off the top of my head.
I'll go with it. Hey, they're winning.
Is there anything that's like magic that begins with an A, like abracadabra? But
we should hear that on the other side of the break. Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, no.
Abra.
No, I'm a big Steve Miller fan, but not that one, no.
Cadabra.
I want to reach out and grab you.
I want to reach out and grab a championship. We are 60 minutes into the show.
Of course we are.
It felt like we've talked for 3 minutes. We've got so much to unpack this hour.
Let's unpack it.
It's the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. But this show, the entire enterprise of the show, is called TexAgs Live. We're presented by
David Gardner's Jewelers
in the
Rollo Insurance Studio.
We already did the Go Hour. We're typically hanging out over there in the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
But the Holistic Planning Cool Zone travels.
It travels right here.
Successfully, much like the Aggies travel successfully.
Travel on the road, they're very good. 4-0. And
4-0.
Basically, the entire staff has got some flu or epidemic, so we're missing a lot of people who, they put that together.
I thought maybe they just wanted us to travel.
Yeah.
Like the Aggies have traveled.
Speaking of travel.
Yeah.
That travel yesterday sucked.
There was some tough travel.
Holy smokes. Just quickly. I woke up at 3:15 in the morning to get to the airport by 3:50. We got home. I got to the hotel like 11:30 that night, I think it was. So I probably got to sleep at midnight. It was not a lot of sleep. My flight got canceled. They tried to reroute me through Afghanistan, it felt like. Everything was like getting me back to Houston at 6 or College Station at 7. It was ridiculous. I finally got back and got to do the Luchador early. We got back at, I think, 1:30 or 2. I just got an alert on my phone that my flight from yesterday was boarding this morning at 7:20. It was boarding. I got that same alert. So, and I know you had some rough travel as well.
Yeah, but nothing like that.
No, but I got 10 hours of sleep, 5 hours and 30 minutes of deep sleep. I'd never get that kind of number. So I feel like it was a steroid. The win and the sleep, I feel good.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. By the way, we should tell the people how they can call the show if they want to talk about stuff.
Well, you call us on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That number is 979.
That's correct.
693.
Correct.
1150.
Yeah, Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Let's go around the room and say hi to the humans. Behind the glass is Nick Savage. Nick, I'm talking very excited like an episode of Anchorman. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. You kind of already mentioned it, and I'm kind of stealing something from later on in the rundown, but I want to get y'all's take on this. Scrolling through Twitter, typically in the past, people like to, like you said, David, poke holes in A&M's resume and whatnot. But after this win, it seemed like there was more of it than usual. It's kind of like almost like the rest of the country realized, hey, okay, this team's for real now. It's time to turn up the heat on them, I guess. And you know what they're going to do now on Tuesday when Missouri isn't ranked anymore. They're going to say, oh, well, A&M only has one ranked win, and it's Notre Dame. So I just want to know if y'all saw the same thing I was seeing. Maybe I'm on Twitter too much, but I just feel like the hate was a little bit turned up this
People
week.
Put you in a box, Nick, and they won't let you grow. It's like sometimes you have to leave a company, OB, to be looked upon differently, right? Like I worked at a radio station, and it was great. It was an awesome run there, but they looked at me as like certain level.
Yeah.
And when I left,
I became a big TV star.
Yeah, they were like, it was funny how they're like, all of a sudden I became a bigger deal, right? So, and then I come to TexAgs and people really like me when they were 9-0. So,
Nuño.
So it's fine. Look, A&M has not lived the life that Ohio State has, right? Indiana, we were poking holes in their resume last year, right? Because of who they played, and that's what they're trying to do.
And then they got destroyed in the playoffs.
So, look, I just want to get invited to the party. I feel pretty good we're invited. I feel we'll have VIP in the champagne room, right? I feel like things are going well.
I want to be the life of the party.
You are the life of the party.
That's right.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
Speaking of life of the party.
Ella Ryan's just been partying it up over here. I'm talking really loud when I'm excited. Hey.
You are being loud today.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, when they're 11-0, we'll have a 11 Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
11
We can do
no
that
Ryan.
one.
11 or no Ryan, yeah.
Good one.
We got to find 12.
We're going to work on it.
We'll be there somewhere. Okay. We'll go to A&M volleyball for today. But
Let's go.
number 6 team now, and they have an impressive run with a 3-0 sweep over the Auburn Tigers Friday. They've extended their win streak to now 8 matches. It is their 20th win of the season and their 13th sweep. But Lednicki has climbed to the number 5 player in program's all-time kills, while Afena Kasapala is now the 4th player in school history to have 500 career blocks.
Okay, let's go. I kind of feel about that volleyball team the way I feel about this football team. Like, I won't be surprised if they're one of the final 4 teams standing. I won't be surprised if they're the final team standing.
They're good.
They're very good.
I watched them beat Texas.
Yep. Let's get one more update in there. Our basketball team kind of had a little bit of a rough one yesterday.
Yeah, basketball dropped their first road game of the season, falling 87-63 to OSU on Sunday afternoon. The Aggies will look to bounce back when they return to Reed Arena on Friday, November 14th, to face UFC. We'll have Bucky in here later, which I bet he'll be talking a lot about that.
Yep, we'll chat with them. David, I see you on hold. We'll get to you on the other side. OB, we had a pretty darn good dinner Saturday night after the win. Where I had a lot of rolls. I had like at least 4 bread rolls at this place that's known for their food. But I still was craving my meat diet at $17.75.
Yeah, $17.75. You know what? When I want to impress somebody, or I just want to sit down and break bread with somebody that's a good guy,
we might do that this week, right?
$17.75, and we're going to do that on Friday.
Yeah,
when Rod Reed, the father of Marcel Reed,
yes,
and if Mrs. Reed wants to come, she's
invited too.
So yeah, we're gonna.
I don't think she wants to talk to us.
She's a nice lady.
She's a great lady, and they got a great son, don't they?
Boy, he is great.
I don't want to interfere with Marcel's pregame ritual, but if he wants to join us for lunch too, he can. Yeah. Make it a family affair.
They probably don't want him to be eating
that heavy of a meal.
Yeah, but but that's how much we like $17.75. So hey, can't dine with Marcel, but we can dine with those who brought Marcel into this world, and they deserve. When you bring something like a gift like Marcel Reed into this world, you deserve some $17.75 barbecue.
The College Football Playoff Committee and the haters poking holes are not poking holes in this resume, baby.
No, not in the $17.75. You can't poke holes in that brisket, that succulent brisket. That jalapeno cheese sausage, those pork ribs, the turkey, and the queso mac and cheese.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you could poke holes in it with your fork on the way to put it in your mouth to eat it.
I'm not against putting your hands behind your head and just going straight
bobbing for macaroni and cheese.
Bobbing for macaroni and cheese. All right, Thursday through Saturday, they're open at 11 a.m. until they're sold out. Call them up, 979-492-6241. It is $17.75.
And it's good.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas. It's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer. All right, we're back. John in San Antonio.
Yeah, let's hear it.
He's blocked. I didn't block him. I guess Louis or somebody else blocked him. I don't like him because his texts are always negative. But I always look at the block text just to see what's out there. He says, stop being perpetual victims with the media. We're getting tons of love all over the place. You don't take note of it because you want to be the victim and have selection bias. John, you've never said anything positive, so go eat a bag of donuts. All right, shall we move on?
Donuts.
The ones from the floor that have been there for a while. Okay, the ones you get in San Francisco outside of a place that other people eat.
Okay.
Those. All right. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
Okay, let's do it.
Shall we?
Yes.
And we'll talk to David. David, welcome to TexAgs Live.
David?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I couldn't do it in 3 words. I just said one game at a time, and I just love the way Elko has these guys focused. They don't care. They're just playing who's in front of them one game at a time.
You know,
And I'm loving it.
I'm loving. We're all loving it, and yeah, they don't seem to look ahead because there's always how many times games have it been a trap game?
They're all trap games, right?
And they haven't been trapped.
No,
they are. Well, he's talked often about how mature they are, focused. I mean, they look like a championship team to me.
they do. They do. And what I like about them, and David, I'm going to agree with this, is not only the one play at a time game, but they also don't get overly emotional about anything, right? Like it's if they have a turnover, like the way the Notre Dame started, like it could have spiraled out of control. They stayed very level-headed, and they took advantage of the opportunities that they had. Even after the 7-0 start for Notre Dame, where it looked like they were going to make it 10-0 or even worse, they just came back and gave them a left hook. They did it at the end of the game as well. David, good stuff, man. Thanks for your call, buddy. Oh, go ahead. You have one more thing.
Something else?
They get along. They genuinely like each other. It's obvious. This team is a team.
I kind of feel the same way, that they do seem like a close-knit team.
They do.
And most championship caliber teams are close-knit. Sometimes, I don't guess you always have to, love each other, but they seem to be a close team. They do. I agree with that.
Appreciate that, David. Thanks, man.
Well, you're welcome.
See you, buddy. All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break.
All right.
We'll come back. We'll do the turning point, and I want to give some weekly kind of shout-out awards, okay?
All right.
So can I tell the origin story of this shirt? You know the origin story.
Tell it.
All right, it's like the heritage films of this shirt. So I'm wearing a duck camp long sleeve. What would you say? This is like a khaki-looking shirt, right?
Yeah, khaki.
Okay. When I ordered it recently from duck camp, I was like, all right, I'm going to wear it to a game. So I change when I get to the Columbia, right? Because I wore a T-shirt in the car, and I change when I get to Columbia. And then I realized this color is a little too similar to what I'm seeing. And I remember a friend of mine, I won't say his name, but he does the show with me during the Go Hour. He once accidentally wore a color too similar to the opponent.
I had a green shirt on at Notre Dame, and some Aggies accosted me over it.
And I didn't want that. So I changed when we got to the stadium.
Needlessly, because they were wearing black.
Yeah. But yours at least said TexAgs, right? So people knew.
Yeah, my jacket is a TexAgs jacket, and it's black. And I was waiting for somebody to give me a hard time because I had on black jeans, except that the Aggies are like 5-0 with me wearing that duck camp kind of greenish hoodie shirt and then my black jeans. So, of course, you don't really want me to change, right?
Right. Well, so this shirt I wore today because I was going to wear it to the game. It's a nice shirt.
It is a nice shirt.
I can go hunt. I don't know if I'd go hunting in it, but I could. You can go. There's no problem.
Depends on what you're hunting for.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
I know what you mean. I think you do.
Duckcamp.com. By the way, use the code TexAgs25 for 25% off of your order. It's Duckcamp. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports. And they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations OB. It's time for the turning point. And I think there are two selections, candidates for this, and they both involve the same player.
They do.
His name is Dalton Brooks.
Yeah, what an amazing game for that young man. I'm going to take for mine, I'm saying the turning point was the fake punt.
Okay.
Even though A&M had a 2-touchdown lead, Missouri had just scored, right?
Yep.
And now they're on the way to forcing a 3 and out. So A&M's having to punt. So all the momentum is on Missouri's side, and I feel like that's where the game is going to turn.
Yep.
Or could turn. And then Mike Elko, who has some
Stones.
grande cajones.
Okay. I'm not sure if that's allowed. Cajoles.
I don't know how they decided to run that play. Had Missouri been overloading on the right side all the time? I guess it'd been the A&M left side all the time. Or was it something, if they see it, do they check to it? I don't know. But we all saw it, the fake punt. Marcus Ratcliffe is able to pin the guy on the end. The end on had been the A&M's right side, slants on a block, and he just lets him and he pins him. And that leaves this number 35, who's playing like a linebacker. I don't even know who he is. He must be a walk-on because he doesn't have a name on his back. And Jacob Graham comes up, makes first contact.
Delays him for a second.
Just for a second. And then he turns, and here comes Albert Regis. Big 300-pound Albert Regis comes and, gets a block on him. And number 12, Owusu, he's just looking for somebody to block.
Yep.
The play is set up so well, there's nobody to block. And here comes Dalton Brooks, high school running back at Shiner, and he's just...
And he's off.
I could have got the first down.
Yeah.
That play was set up and blocked so well. I'm not getting the 48 yards like Dalton Brooks did, but man, what a play, what a call. And at that point, I felt like that because they got a field goal out of it. I thought that's all they needed. I thought that they nailed it down right there, in my opinion.
Let's hear from Mike Elko, because this was it was about momentum in the game.
Obviously, good start to November. Finishing up this road swing, coming on the road. Yeah, I just, the momentum seemed like it kind of had gotten away. They had put the drive together. They went out and stopped us. It was 21-7, and we just, we've gotten some exotic punt block looks against us, and some people have been overloading things, and they're not sound against fake. And so they were trying to do it as well, and so we felt like we had an opportunity if the right time presented itself, and we took it.
We took it. Now, what was the other turning point involving Dalton Brooks?
Well, Damian Sanford, of course, is always involved in big plays, right? Always. He's had so many good games in a row that we're trying to remember. Where's the one where he got co-SEC Defensive Player of the Week? And it was the Mississippi State game where I think he had a sack, an interception, a bunch of tackles for loss. Well, in this game, he causes another strip sack. The ball just flies in the air perfectly to Dalton Brooks.
It was almost like a pass.
Yeah. It was beautiful. And then he takes it all the way to, what was it, 3-4 yard line?
Takes it down to the 2 yard line. This tight end just happened to be in a good spot.
No face mask. Sorry. I yelled that.
But it is interesting the way, if you watch the way they rushed it, it's all set up. Dalton is taking an outside, he's blitzing, but he's kind of looping around the tackle.
Yeah.
He's not trying to make a beeline to the quarterback, because what he's doing is he's taking the tackle out of it, and here comes Damian right where that tackle, I guess, was supposed to be, or normally would be. But anyway, he comes right off, and I think it's a tight end tries to pick him up. No chance. Sanford, gets there, knocks the ball loose, and there's Brooks. Brooks had a chance to score 2 touchdowns. So that's, hey, for all the people that says we're negative, that's the problem with you, Dalton. You can't score the touchdowns? Come on. You only got like 78 yards on 2 plays, something like that. 2 huge plays. Yeah. Dalton Brooks was the player of the game.
Yeah. Let's give out some weeklies.
Okay.
I'm calling them the weeklies.
The weeklies.
All right. Who's the low-key hero in this game? Low-key, like somebody you don't think about. I'm going to tell you my suggestion.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you E.J. Smith.
Yeah.
Short yardage situation. I mean, the stats may not be mind-boggling, but like when you need a yard or 2, you can count on number 22.
Yeah. I will say Theo Mellon-Nordstrom.
Oh, how about that?
Caught a couple of passes, and then on the which touchdown was it? It was He had a really good block on, maybe it's Ruben's long touchdown run.
Well, I actually put low-key hero part 2, the tight ends. Because in general, they seem to be like that security blanket. The middle of the field started to open up so much. Remember, we were talking about it, like it's just open because they were so concerned about the wings, right? So I have this 3 catches, 38 yards for the tight ends in total. Middle of the field was open. They had some key blocks. So that was my low-key hero, okay?
Do we have the Ruben Owens video of his touchdown, the long one?
I bet we can find it at some point. Because I know we have the long package of highlights.
I'm thinking, I may be wrong, but first of all, it's Drayden Norwood, who started his career here, coming in. Is this it? Well, maybe that wasn't the play where it was, but there's one play I have to go back.
It's a beautiful play, though.
It was. But anyway, the guy's come, the corner is coming over, and Theo's in motion and takes him out. And the ball, the play is blocked so well inside the holes there that corner was the only guy that had a chance to stop him.
Yeah.
And Theo takes him out and boom, touchdown.
Who's the enforcer of the game? A guy that you think like enforced havoc? I have 2 thoughts on this.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Cassius Howell.
And
I also put Damian Sanford.
Yeah.
Memorable day.
Howell and Sanford.
Mr. Reliable. I'm going Marcel Reed. He's just reliable. Like what is he? Is he completing 77% of his passes this year? I think that's what it is.
Is that what it is, really?
Something high. Can you fact check me on that? I feel like it's up there. And remember he talked to, okay, where did I get 77 from? 62.3. Nowhere near 77. But 62.3 is very good. I don't know where I got 77. Maybe it was the last game.
Probably in the last several games.
Okay.
Because remember, he was under 50% against Notre Dame.
Yeah, so 62.3. Terrible stat. But overall, terrible thought process by me. But he has been so reliable, even on games that he's not splashy, if you will, right? It's just reliable. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get a good game from your quarterback. If he needs to run on a play, he'll run. If he needs to do a short pass, he'll do it. If he needs to find the middle of the field, you don't worry about him. He's reliable.
He is. You could probably put KC or Mario in there, but yeah.
Well, I gave another award to those guys.
What's that?
X Factors.
The X Factors?
The X Factor. Because, KC, 4 catches, 84 yards, and on that, was it a 3rd and 6 that he turned it into to the 48-yard touchdown? I think that was right. Am I right about that? A 3rd and 6, I think it was. Regardless, when you needed a big play, he was. By the way,
that one was well blocked too.
That was when I felt like A&M was in a lot of 3rd downs in that game. That darn song that kept on playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about or no? It was just so annoying. Like, whatever the song. It's like a terrible
Yeah, that
song.
came through on the ESPN feed, too. It was really, pick a better 3rd down song. Come on.
It couldn't be worse. It's like a Taco Bell commercial, like the whole game.
Yeah, well.
What was worse, that or the South Carolina
Nothing's
Gamecock?
worse than the rooster crow.
Yeah, that's the worst. Where am I? Safari? What's going on here? Anyway, all right. We've kind of already done it. Play or plays we're going to remember. Goes back to the X Factors, right? To the turning points, I should say.
You know what I really loved about the, and Ryan Broniger pointed this out on Twitter, what I really loved about the Ruben Owens 57-yard touchdown is after he scored it, he turned to the Missouri student section, waved by to him.
Yeah, that was fantastic. The MVP of the game?
The MVP, I would go with Dalton Brooks.
Yeah, Dalton Brooks.
I would go with Dalton Brooks, but it was almost like being the guy that scores the run.
Yeah,
sometimes isn't as important as the guy who got the RBI, and the RBI on that one was Damian Sanford,
right?
But sure, Dalton. Why not?
The running game in the 4th quarter,
it
was so brilliant. But before that, really, they weren't able to rush, other than Dalton Brooks' big play in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and but it was Elko, I think, after the. In fact, I know it was Elko. And he said, they challenged the offensive line. Hey, how good are you guys? Let's go out and win the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
my guys, they went out and won the line of scrimmage. They dominated the line of scrimmage in the second half.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll do a final segment, shall we?
Let's do.
All right, we'll talk. We'll look at some text messages. People got to voice their opinion. If you want to call, you want to be like David who called earlier, you can do it. 979-693-1150. We're talking Rollo Insurance, headquartered right here on Highway 6 in College Station. The Rollo Insurance Group shares our community values. They're an independent agency that works for you, not for the shareholders. Their team provides objective consultation across all insurance lines available in Texas and beyond. Join with thousands of Aggies who have trusted Rollo Insurance to protect what matters most. And when local matters hit home, like severe weather or regional economic shifts, Rollo agents understand the impact firsthand because they live here too. Their independence means that they can recommend solutions from dozens of carriers based on what's best for you, and that's what's most profitable for them. That's why so many local families and businesses have made Rollo Insurance their first call. The difference is real. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olson wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour coming to a close here, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Hey,
can I correct myself? It was not Drayden Norwood that Theo made the block on that, and it was the 57-yard touchdown, but it was defensive end Langdon Kitchens who was kind of pinching in.
Yep.
And when he came over he was in motion, came over, sealed that one, and then the whole, I guess it was Zune and Basantis just blew it open and touchdown.
Well, plays like that, we're at a point in the season that things that maybe we would have overlooked become so important in these big plays, right? Like without that maybe is not a touchdown, right? They maybe it gets stopped.
And that's why Theo is my what'd you call it? X Factor?
I think
or
unsung hero.
Or whatever, yeah.
Theo, props to you, buddy. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella Ryan, the humans have been speaking.
Zach from Tennessee asked, is it good or bad that I don't think we've seen a complete game and we're still beating teams by 20 points?
Be careful saying that out loud. People get mad at you. They want you to enjoy it.
I think it's good.
I'm just the messenger.
But by the way, what is a perfect game or what is a complete game? I might argue, and I know people will argue with me, the LSU game, they were in control of that first half completely other than dumb mistakes, right?
They were 3/4 of the way there against LSU.
So LSU is as close to, I think, of a perfect game.
I think they were really close in this one.
Okay.
Because you got to understand the other team has some ability.
And they're trying to, right?
But by the way, Ashton Bethlehem Roman's really coming on, loving, but like he had the fumble, the ball got punched out behind.
Yeah.
He was making a good play.
They win by.
You take that. You just want to see them take those things out, and those things happen. But you're still hoping that you can see that game where you don't have that. You don't have the penalty, the offsides penalty that extends the drive where they score on. Those are the kind of things. If they just go out and score a touchdown because they executed it better, all right, that's one thing. But when you got them stopped, but there's an offsides penalty that keeps them going, then they go score. Those are the kind of things you want to see get cleaned up.
Yeah, and then the other thing is like we should use the same logic or the same skepticism, same analysis for our team with others.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sure, I haven't watched enough Ohio State to tell you, but I'm sure there's games, and I've seen the scores, right? They're in a tight one in this one. Like, I didn't expect that. And then they start pulling away. And that's what A&M has done several times. And especially if it's close, they have owned fourth quarters, OB.
Second halves, but yeah, fourth quarters. And second halves in general, fourth quarters in particular.
I think I had the stat here. Let me see if I can find it before we hit a break about what they've done in fourth quarters in their last few games. You may have that, OB. I know I wrote it down somewhere, but it is uncanny what they've been able to do. Yeah, 120 to 55 in the last 5 games in the second half, which is basically 24 points for A&M and 11 for their opponents in the second half of games.
Yeah, they've been their second half team. We a first and second half team.
How about this? We've got to, as A&M is time to finish, right? Be better at the end, and we got a long way to go for the end. The show's going to keep getting better. We're gonna go as long as the Aggies go.
Just keep going.
Keep on going. Thank you, OB.
All
right. Coming up next on TexAgs Live, Marty Smith of ESPN will join us. We'll talk with him. Billy Liucci should be in studio a little bit after that, and Bucky McMillan talking some basketball later on in the program at 10:35. You are listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio, hour number 2 of the program. Time for our weekly conversation with Marty Smith, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The most festive gear of the year is back at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Don't miss the limited edition Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection only at Academy. Get exclusive 2025 gear and gifts for all of your holiday parties, fun family photos, and Christmas morning traditions. Check out the entire collection, from matching PJs and holiday print fishing shirts and dresses to exclusive new Mossy Oak Snowdrift camo styles and much more. Shop in-store at academy.com. If you need it fast, get same-day delivery powered by DoorDash. Let your holiday fun begin with Magellan Outdoors Christmas Market Collection only at Academy. And with that, we go to the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Marty Smith joining us here on the program. What's up, buddy?
Hell of a job on that Academy reader, son. That was a lot.
That was a lot.
That was a lot, son. You got a lot. You said a lot with a little right there, man. But yeah, grateful to be with you. The Aggies are just rolling people. Man, what a great football team. They're a great football team. It's a fun team to watch. I mean, the promise is, you don't want to get ahead of yourself. There's still ball to play and a lot of ball to play, but when you've done something that's been done, 5 times now in 130 years, that's something to celebrate. So, just a fantastic job by everybody there.
Marty, it's a unique position for somebody who's grown up an Aggie, basically my entire life, has followed this team so closely the last 5 years, and really my professional career, I've always paid attention to what's going on with my heart involved. And I'm watching these games happen, and I start creeping into the way it used to be in my head, they needed a fake punt to change the moment. I'm enjoying every moment of it, but sometimes I fear what I shouldn't fear, because this team has proven to me to be a different Texas A&M team. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and my advice to you is embrace the journey and the moment, because you're reaching back to a lot of scars. You're reaching back to what so many sports fans experience when they have been passionately in love with a team and the people that comprise that team for a lifetime. And you always go, well, they're going to break my heart again, because that's our defense mechanism. But you're not enjoying the journey if you're doing that right now with this particular team. And if you get your heart broke, you get your heart broke, man. Put all the chips in the middle. Because what was it, 1992, the last time y'all were 9-0? Is that accurate?
That's
right?
Correct.
Went 12-0, and what? I forget. Y'all lost a bowl game or something?
Yep, that's correct.
Right? Okay. All right. So 1992. Is that even your lifetime? How old are you?
I'm 49. So yeah, definitely is my lifetime.
You're my age?
Yeah.
Damn, I need your secret, man. What's your secret? Golly.
It's good genes. It's definitely good genes.
I mean, wow. I am floored that we're the same age. Maybe if I shave my beard off. You don't have any gray hair?
No, I got it. I got it right here. I got a lot right here.
You're doing it right. I got a lot too. But I tell you, Daddy, my dad was white-haired like Bobby Crimmins. Remember Georgia Tech's coach Bobby Crimmins just had that shock of white hair? My daddy looked like that at 38-ish.
Oh, wow.
So I've held on to some of my ginger, but it is running away from me fast. I looked in the mirror the other day and I saw Kenny Rogers. So we'll see what's happening here in the next couple of years. I imagine I will be a full-blown silver fox.
Marty, I feel like in pictures I look significantly older than I think I do in the mirror. I look at pictures like, oh, buddy, I've gotten old. So,
man, you're doing great. You're doing great. That is, I would have lost that bet, sir.
Well,
you're doing a good job.
Thank you very much. I forgot what I asked you, but I'm sure it was something about A&M football. But
you were just talking about your heart.
Yeah.
Being conditioned to have your heart broken, or conditioned for that one little fissure that you are that you see, and probably in this case, it's contrived. You're nitpicking, but I get it, because when you see potential, it's like my kids. When my kids are frustrated that a coach is hard on them, I tell them they're only hard on you because they see potential. Mm-hmm. You only have this emotion of bracing yourself for heartbreak because you see the potential. If you didn't, you'd be like, well, whatever.
So, Marty, I think it's interesting because it depends who says it, right? So we in the Aggie community, it's our community, we can say it. But when Indiana fans or Ohio State fans or Texas fans and all these others start poking holes in our resume, I'm like, wait. Then I become very defensive. Isn't it funny how it works that way?
Because other Aggie fans are your brothers and sisters, figuratively, and everybody's trying to pull in the same direction there with the same passion that has been the trademark of that program, the 12th man, right? It's just like family members. I can say whatever I want to about my brother, but you can't. Mm-hmm. That's just the way we are. But look, I mean, when I look at this team and you see just how dynamic they are offensively, I mean, they are explosive, man. You got that part. Defensively, they're very, very good and very athletic. You look at it and you go, okay, will that defensive front that is so gifted, stay fundamentally sound in the moments that require that? That's what I see on tape. But, yeah, I mean, dude, it could be argued that Texas A&M's the best team in the country based on resume. I would still vote Ohio State. I would. But it could certainly be argued that Texas A&M is the best team in America. Look at Indiana goes into Happy Valley and has to escape by the greatest catch of the year by Omar Cooper. That will potentially be the play of the year, depending on how their season continues to progress in Bloomington. But A&M is complete. We say it every week, and they've done nothing at all to change that opinion, certainly from me.
Marty, I remember, 2-3 years ago, we had you on the show before you were a regular, and we talked about your book, Sideline CEO. And I think, if I remember correctly, Jimbo was in that book.
He was, absolutely.
Yeah. So just some of the principles you learned in that book, what you know about A&M and Coach Elko, like what are some of the things that maybe stand out about what the successful coaches have done in the past that maybe you're seeing mimicked or even redefined with the way Coach Elko does it?
Well, in that book, so I interviewed 20 different championship coaches, Jimbo included, who, of course, won the 2013 national title in Tallahassee. Now, I took all that I learned from those 20 people, and I broke that book up into various pillars of leadership. And when you look at Elko specifically, he achieved the number one thing you can achieve, and that is trust among his players. You can see it. They trust what they're being taught, and they execute that at a very high level. Now, with that comes the value of culture. And what is culture? Culture is the energy in the building. It's how people treat each other. It's the messaging that's being said, seen, felt, heard, noticed in every corner and every sector of the program and in the building. When you have a tough conversation with somebody, Doc Rivers told me this, David, culture happens when we turn our backs. So if those coaches see a weakness, maybe a linebacker didn't fit the run, maybe a wide receiver ran his route 1.5 yards short, and thereby there was a miss by Marcel Reed. When they get their asses chewed, are they complaining about it at a peer-to-peer level, or do they use that and use it to grow? when I turn my back, how is the culture being preserved? And it's readily obvious. It's being not only preserved, but accentuated and accelerated under what Coach Elko and his staff are doing right now. He also, is a guy that's willing to delegate. He hires great talent within his coaching staff and charges and trusts them to do what they were hired to do. Kirby Smart told me this in that book. I'm hell to work for. Hell to work for. But I did not become a champion until I learned to delegate. Hire that great talent. Let them do what you hired them to do. Because these days, Bubba, they're CEOs. That's what they have to be. And, getting in the weeds of the game planning and all of that, there's only a select few who can do it at a really high level.
Talking to Marty Smith here on TexAgs Live. I found it interesting that, a couple of interim head coaches this weekend, their teams look different, right? I'm talking about LSU and Auburn.
No doubt.
They still lost, but it seemed different. Like LSU makes the flip to Michael Van Buren, which our listeners were telling us, do you think you'll see it in the LSU A&M game? And it didn't turn out to be a reality. But that being said, they go to MVB, and he looks pretty good in the game, gave them some chances. Auburn scores a bunch, but their defense had a collapse in the second half. So just talk to us about maybe how sometimes, even though there were still losses, that change in just the head man can bring out something completely different from a team.
Well, of course, Coach Durkin is a former head coach anyway and is a great football coach. And so he's a man with great intensity and great intentionality, and he can galvanize folks. That LSU situation had gotten to a point where it was obvious that everybody believed it was time for new blood at the top, new direction at the top. And the players came out and had great spirit. You can't question that. Going to Van Buren, to me, I really want to dive into the why. I really do. And I don't know that, right? As we sit here right now on Monday morning, I haven't yet. Was that a decision that was made based on output? Was that a decision made based on what you wanted? Was that a future, looking at the future now? What's the why? Both of those teams. But look, with Auburn specifically, I think we've said this before. I know I've said it on Marty and McGee. Forgive me, everything kind of runs together, but I don't want to be redundant or repetitive too badly. But Auburn, before they fired Freeze, they easily could have had 3 or 4 more wins because they lost some really close games in some heartbreaking moments, in heartbreaking fashion. So Auburn has dudes, man. Like, whoever takes that job, if they can retain the talent that's there, they're going to have a roster. You look at their wide receiving core, they're as good as you're talking about top level. They're right there with you guys, right there with Ohio State, in terms of the talent on the perimeter that can create those explosives and win one-on-one matchups. So you could feel it, though. You're right. Anytime there's a coaching change and the players, you have 2 choices. You can fracture or you can galvanize, and those teams seem to do that. Seem to really stay cohesive.
Then there's the other coaching change at Florida, and I'm sorry, I did not expect Kentucky to do what they did. It makes me wonder about his future with Kentucky. Does that maybe buy him another season potentially? And then Florida, going away from DJ Lagway, I guess another, why for the future as well.
Yeah, I need the context. I don't really go on a bunch of platforms and start pontificating about what I think. I like to have more accurate information before I do that. But man, that was shocking. When you look at from that Texas game, which was this incredible moment, to now for both for Texas and for Florida, holy smokes. And they got, I'll be fascinated to see who they end up with on the sideline next year.
Well, and thinking about Kentucky, too, how close they were to winning that Texas game. Like, how different would we be looking at them had they won that game? And also how different we would be looking at Texas?
Completely differently. Now you got Texas at 10, going to Athens this weekend. That's where we'll be. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere. Night game between the hedges with Georgia hitting on all 8. To me, that was their best, most complete performance. I was saying about them on Saturday morning, standing on the field at Davis Wade. Georgia had started so slowly. They had only led at halftime prior to that game on Saturday 4 times in the last 2 years in the SEC. 4 out of the last 15 SEC games were they the leader at halftime. Now, they had won 8 games when they were either down in the fourth quarter or overtime. There is great value in that, according to Kirby Smart, that you build this competitive stamina, and psychologically okay, if we get down, we're capable of coming back. But they were dominant on Saturday. That's the best they've looked.
Marty, when it comes down to Vandy, it's so weird for me because I still look at them as a lovable loser, if you will. They're not a lovable loser. They're a really good football team, man.
Again, competitive stamina. Clark has built in the SEC, man. In the SEC, everybody's hurt. Everybody's beat up. Everybody has talent. So how do you separate yourself? And it goes back to that culture thing with Vanderbilt. And Clark, you remember it and I remember it. SEC Media Days 5 years ago, people laughed at him. They laughed at him. And he is such an incredible man, first of all, but also that lightning in a bottle union with Pavia, who Clark has told me himself, when you have a dog like that who can be that kind of leader in the locker room among his peers and inject that level of belief within his peer, can't be done by a coach, bro. Can't be done by a coach. And especially when that's your quarterback. And man, that kid played his ass off on Saturday. Stat line was unbelievable. And so, look, man, I mean, they're right in the mix here. And they have a chance at they've already had a magical season, but they have the chance to do something. I would venture to say, outside of Diego Pavia, Clark Lee, and that locker room, probably didn't think was possible.
Marty, great stuff, man. Thanks for your time.
Always. I appreciate you, brother. I can't believe you're 49 years old, man. You need to text me like whatever you're eating. Like, I need to know it all.
I'll send you my screenshots of my macronutrients.
Take care, guys.
Later, buddy. Marty Smith here on TexAgs Live. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, Billy Liucci will be joining us. We'll chit-chat with Billy about probably football things. That's what I'm assuming. All right, if you're looking for a reason to move back to Aggieland, or you already live in Aggieland, you need to look at the Association of Former Students for a potential landing spot for a job, right? They are seeking to hire professionals to join their team, and they have typically openings in several different departments. It could be fundraising, it could be sales, it could be marketing, it could be communications, a lot of different areas that they're looking to hire folks. And they're the nation's premier alumni association and the oldest organization supporting A&M and part of that Aggie network. The association plays a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. So don't miss opportunities to help out with Howdy socials, Aggie Rain Day, class reunions, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. And we are back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in here on the program as we celebrate a great, not even start of the season. What's the line to use here? We're not celebrating the great start to the season. They're 9-0. They are more than halfway through the season.
3/4.
Yeah, because, I mean, hopefully it's a long run in the playoffs, right? So, I don't know what the mathematical formula is for how far they are, but basically, you know what they've done? Every test that's come their way, they have won, and they've won in impressive fashion. And if you want to hold the Arkansas game against them, okay, sure, whatever. There have been plenty of top teams that have struggled with inferior opponents, if you will, on the road in the SEC. Sure, okay. But use that same energy for everybody else, too, when you do that. Like everybody tried to take away A&M's dominant performance against an LSU team that fired their coach after that game, right? But they were, by the way, in the top 10 or whatever they were when A&M played them, right outside the top 10, excuse me. And they ended up firing their head coach. Okay, that's what happened against LSU. Indiana is celebrated for beating a Penn State team with a similar resume, by the way, but way worse situation by the time that they met up, right? And they won on a last-second play. Okay, and I guess Marty made a comment in that last segment about the touchdown pass to win it for Mendoza, and it was a beautiful play, especially the moment and what it meant for their season and whatnot. And that may be the catch of the year. I can also throw in a candidate. His name is Nate Borkacher, and he did also similar against a much higher level opponent, in my opinion. I think Notre Dame's better than Penn State. All right, I don't think that's worth arguing about. So anyway, we go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella Ryan is there. Ella, I know some people have been speaking. I think I hear Billy in the lobby.
Yeah, I definitely hear Billy in the lobby.
I hear somebody yelling. Probably Billy.
It's definitely him. But a lot of people earlier were talking about the upcoming South Carolina game and mixed opinions. Some people thinking it's the biggest trap game of the season. Some saying there's no way our team would happen or let that happen because of the history of last year. So what do you think about South Carolina trap game or not?
They're all trap games, right? Every game against every opponent.
That is true.
Right? Because everybody you play, you're supposed to beat. Right? Like, I think Texas is going to lose this weekend at Georgia. That's what I think. And it kind of depends on who the team is. Like, for instance, Texas, last time they played against Vandy, looked pretty darn good for 3/4 of that game. Like, okay, I guess they figured it out. Just like they looked against Oklahoma. I guess they figured it out. Right? But who have they been most of the season? Georgia, for instance. Who's Georgia been most of the season? Right? Like, most of the season, they're scraping by. This past weekend, they didn't just scrape by. Who's A&M been most of the season? For the most part, they haven't scraped by. They've dominated these games, and if you look at the final score. And with that, we're joined by... That's a really nice jacket.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I like it.
You know what's funny is when I put this on this morning, I said, you know what, Nuño will probably comment on this. He'll like this.
Yeah, so it's puffy, but not too puffy. Right?
Yeah.
It's the right level of puff.
Yeah, it is.
Daddy.
It is. I would love to tell anyone interested what brand this is, but there's a couple of, I'm going to start off cussing already. There's a couple of asses on the boards that, seem grossly upset and offended if we dare talk about clothing. What brand is that shirt?
This is Duck Camp.
I figured it was. I like it.
Built for the outdoors, designed for everything else.
Yeah, I've got a nice box of Duck Camp. Speaking of,
did you hear? You probably didn't hear it.
I did open up the hats, but
you didn't hear my story about this shirt. There's a. I'll just tell you the short version. I wore it to the game in Missouri, and when I got there, I was like, it looks a little too similar to their colors, so I changed.
Oh, you changed?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do back-to-back
What did you
days.
put on at the game?
I had my TexAgs quarter zip. I put that on.
In a backpack, wrinkled.
It wasn't
representing us.
No, I made this wrinkled. I took this off, put a T-shirt on, and put my. I looked very good, actually. In fact, I got comments, many comments from humans all over the place. It was the greatest comments of all time.
I bet you did. There were compliments on the Aggies' football performance Saturday. Ella?
What?
She was down on a computer.
I'm reading comments.
You want to share one of the comments?
Let's hear them.
Oh, now I'm put on the spot. Okay.
Pick one.
Was she really reading comments?
Yes, I was.
She was.
We were talking about, okay, now I'm laughing. Talking about the trap game again and how, they're actually talking about the Penn State game and how Mendoza saved his
Heisman
the wide
campaign.
receiver saved his
Well,
ASS.
I had just before you walked in the studio, like how people are celebrating that as an amazing moment for
I've got
Indiana.
a lot of thoughts on.
Okay, give me some thoughts.
No, I'll just keep going. That's
Well, I was
one
going to say
of them.
people are
And-
celebrating that as this amazing moment. A&M beat LSU when they were still highly ranked team and dismantled them. Went on a 35-0 run, and it's just LSU. Indiana barely gets by Penn State, and that's going to happen sometimes. I recognize that. And it's like, look at what Indiana was able to do. It was amazing, especially that last play. I give them all the credit in the world. But it's interesting how people's perspective changes based on who they're talking about.
Would we be calling it a Heisman moment?
Yes.
If Marcel Reed did that against
Arkansas? Yeah, I think we would.
Would we, if he did it against South Carolina, well, did we call it, were people talking about it as a potential Heisman drive for Ty Simpson against South Carolina? I'm talking about unranked teams here,
I think so.
So it's fine. I think it was a Heisman type moment in the course of a season. I think Marcel's game in Baton Rouge should be considered a Heisman type moment. I just want these national media people and this committee to start applying the same, just be consistent. Do it for everyone. So just keep it straight. So when you hype up Mendoza and his performance against Indiana, don't hold that against, if Marcel lights up and goes for 400 yards against South Carolina, don't discount it because it's South Carolina. South Carolina is every bit as good as Penn State. Let's just call them on the same level. And Penn State doesn't have a quarterback like Lenore Sellers. But if he lights them up, don't try to mitigate that, because I'd say, well, what did Mendoza do a week before against a similar level team? Or if A&M plays a close game against Arkansas on the road, don't hold that against A&M if you're not going to hold playing a close game against Penn State. Because Happy Valley? Okay, fine. Then A&M should get infinitely more credit for beating Missouri and LSU than Indiana is doing for some of the games on their schedule. Period. Go all the way across the board and look at who Indiana's playing. And I don't care that LSU's no longer ranked because A&M beat them so badly that they fell from number 15 out. I don't care that Missouri's no longer ranked because A&M beat a team that was, 6-2 coming in, a team that lost to Alabama by 3 points in heartbreaking fashion. That is so much more impressive than what Indiana did in going into Penn State and beating a 3-win football team. That's akin to A&M beating Auburn. So just keep it consistent. So when you're evaluating South Carolina, do that. Keep it consistent when you're evaluating Texas Tech. And don't let Joey McGuire and his aw shucks thing and the fact that you're scared to offend Cody Campbell and a great environment that they've got going up there, and all those things can be true. You don't have to feel the need to mention them every time you talk about the national title hunt. And then I keep hearing these little disclaimers. I heard them this morning towards A&M. Doring has come around, but right up until this Saturday, it's disclaimers. Put the disclaimers on the Texas Techs and BYUs of the world, because they haven't done anything. And I heard Joey McGuire, running his trap about Notre Dame this week. I don't really have any soft spot for Notre Dame, but I'm sitting here going, he's kind of bashing them for not being in a conference.
What did he say?
And I'm sitting there, what would Texas Tech's record be on Notre Dame's schedule? Okay, I think Tech is really good when I watch them. I think they're really good, but they run the ball and they play defense, and those are two things. It's not. We don't associate that with Tech and the air raid and all that, and we don't associate it typically with the Big 12, but they do both of those. Just like last year, Arizona State made noise in the playoffs, and because they could run the football, line up and run it, and that's where I think Tech is. Tech can run it and they can play defense. So That's a good football team. That's a team that a lot of teams won't want to see in the playoff. But if I'm trying to anoint them a national title contender, if I feel like I can't criticize their schedule for God knows what reason, just because it's a great story, just because they've bought their way into the club and you don't want to be perceived as the jerk that tells them they can't get in, which is not what you're doing. All you're asking them to do is just apply the same dress code to them that you do everybody else.
Right.
That everybody else that's been going there for years already has to deal with. Do the same thing. Don't let them walk in with shorts. Don't let them walk in where BYU and Utah are the toughest games on your schedule. And where everyone else is playing, A&M's got to play in Austin. Alabama's got to face OU. Georgia's got to face Texas and Georgia Tech. Ohio State's got to play Michigan. All these games still left, and Texas Tech plays who? West Virginia and somebody pretty horrible. UCF. UCF and West Virginia is what Tech has left. And it'd be one thing if they had other games that they played and say, hey, dude, we played a murderer's row. Like, cut us some slack. No, you have not. Your best wins are BYU and Utah. You can't find a quality win outside of the state of freaking Utah in football. And I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it. So people need to start, like, if you're going to break down, well, A&M's SEC records, SEC opponents have this record, and you're going to, start nitpicking it, that Notre Dame this and that. Let me tell you something. If Tech played Notre Dame's schedule, let's just call it toss-up games. USC,
Miami,
A&M, Miami. At a minimum, at Pitt, probably 4 like toss-up games. And I say toss-up. The reality is there's a couple of top 15 teams in there. There's USC as a playoff contender. Like that. Compare A&M. Forget about whether Tech would win or lose, because I'm not trying to like bash or discredit them here, but Texas Tech, Pitt, Miami, USC, A&M versus Utah and BYU. And if you watch BYU play, you really know they're not any good. Utah at least brings a level of physicality that will play in other conferences, for sure. That's it. That's the whole deal. So feel free to criticize and put the microscope on Texas Tech when you're trying to prop them up. And just like, I hate to say this about the Texas Longhorns, but Texas Tech is comfortably out in front of Texas in the rankings. If Tech dropped a game in the Big 12 title game and it was a 2-loss team, and Texas beat Georgia, let's say, we won't say the other one. Let's say they beat Georgia and they finished 9-3. They might get in the playoffs, but a Texas Tech team that didn't win the Big 12 is probably getting in ahead of them. And the only reason why would be because they both lost to a bad team in Florida and Arizona State. The only reason why Tech would get in is because Texas played at Ohio State to open the season and lost that.
So they're penalized for that.
Whereas Tech is playing like Western Illinois and Oregon State, like who just lost to Sam Houston, by the way, Oregon State. So my point of saying this whole rant is like apply things with the same microscope across the board if you're a national media type, and especially if you're on that damn committee. And what I'm leading into is I think A&M tomorrow night should jump Indiana. I'm not confident that they will, but there's nothing about what I saw this weekend in college football, in Happy Valley and in Como, and over the body of work over the course of the season that doesn't tell me that Texas A&M should jump Indiana. And before you say it doesn't matter, it does. That one spot, if you hold it, could be the difference in 4 or 5 if you do lose a game. Most notably if you didn't win in Austin or even potentially, more unlikely, but if you lost in Atlanta. I don't think you drop from 3 to 5 there, but it's just like 2 and 3, there is a difference. And I think if A&M passes Indiana and goes into that 2 spot, they'll hold it, and they'll be no worse than 4 if they lost an SEC title game, or it gives you the opportunity to come in at number 4 and get a bye if you go 11-1.
Let's hit a break here. Talking Heritage Films, agricultural families understand something that sometimes city folks miss. Life moves in seasons, and each one does matter, and Farm and Ranch Films through Heritage Films is the newest offering that helps you bottle those moments before they're gone. Imagine your grandchildren not seeing what your operation used to look like, but understanding not only that, but understanding the principles that it was built on. Chance McClain and his team don't just do interviews. They create cinematic legacies of your land and beyond with a Netflix style of production that you're going to love. From the daily routines to the once-in-a-lifetime moments, they capture what makes your family and your land so unique. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com, and click on the Farm and Ranch portion of the website, or call them up, 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks is good to be right. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. I don't know if you're talking about, Billy was asking me, do you want me to bring up the quote that you're talking about?
Sure, if you have it.
I don't know if I have the one you're talking about, but I found a couple different times that he spoke about similar themes.
Yeah.
After the Florida game, we just kept on pounding, and then for us to be able to run the ball effectively, we did have to milk the clock in the fourth quarter and really suck the air out of the game. That's not easy to do in this conference. He had other quotes where I think we found different ways to win, different ways in week 1, different way in week 2 and week 3. Great teams have confidence no matter how it goes. They're just going to find a way to get the job done. So different things, not necessarily what you were saying, but
yeah, not at all.
The Swiss Army watch. You know what I did? I just said, does Elko have a statement similar to this?
Yeah, I told you. I think my word is wrong with the sledgehammer, but there's some quote that I'm looking for my article this morning, and it's about Elko, and I felt like he said something like, "If we have to beat you to death with a sledgehammer," I don't know what he said. Maybe
like
that.
Clyde Drexler said, "Beat down baby seals," something similar to that.
Club of baby seal. Yeah.
That was
Who does that? Who does that? Clyde the Clyde.
Not my favorite interview.
No, but I was just trying to find the quote because just kind of to the point though of what you just accidentally did. Which is A&M is just, they can beat you in so many different ways. They can, like yesterday, they set up the run game late by getting the ball. It almost reminded me as much of what they did in the first game of the year against UTSA offensively, where it was a lot of screens and passes quick, get the ball out of Marcel's hands quickly and make all those bodies packed in the middle run, and then you run it late and just start racking up yards between the tackles. And that's kind of, it felt like, but then one week it might be ground and pound. Another week it might be, let's go over the top and hit explosive plays. Another week it might be Marcel saying, hey, I'm going to run this week. One week it might be all of the above. It might be one of those approaches in the first half of a game, a different approach in the second. Like, I think Colin Klein should win the Broyles Award this year as the best coordinator in college football. I think he's been that good. But it's the way they can beat you offensively or defensively as well. I was thinking of this A&M defense, Nuño, and I was talking about how they got to get better against the run in the certain style of running game that seems to hurt them, or maybe it's just a deal where it's like, hey, that's a bend but don't break aspect of us if a team insists on doing that. I don't think that's the case, though. I think when you watch like Missouri, you see some misfits and you see missed tackles that is not them attacking like a weakness in the scheme. You can actually see it happening when you rewatch the game. So I don't think it's that. But either way, they need to shore up that run defense because the goal now is an SEC title. The goal is to go undefeated. The goal is to win a national championship. So in order to do that, like you were talking about yesterday, you do nitpick a little bit and you start to go, where's the flaw? Like what are they? And that's it. But I've also said in the last 2 games, you've seen this team play next level elite defense for 50% of the time. And what I mean by 50% is not one snap good, one snap bad. That would be pretty crappy defense. What I mean is they've played 8 quarters, and in the second half against LSU, they barely allowed a yard. And before that final garbage time drive, when you're up 49-18, and the backups are in, right?
Yep.
So they gave up a last-minute garbage time touchdown against the Twos, up 49-18. So basically it pitched a second-half shutout and really allowed nary a yard. And then in the first half against Missouri, 14-0, shutout, big-time takeaway, set yourself up for a touchdown. So that first half against Missouri and that second half against LSU was 4 quarters of like truly elite defensive football. And I think in the first half, Mizzou might have just ripped off 1, maybe 2 long runs. Outside of that, you played a game of football of damn near perfection.
We got to hit a break here, but I do want to comment on that. So they rushed for 207 yards, but Olin correctly pointed out their first run and their last big run, right? Basically, two plays were basically almost 90 yards rushing, right? So there was those two plays, and they're too many for sure.
Well, yeah.
But overall, they actually did pretty well against the run outside of those two plays.
Well, my point really is though that in the last two games they've played like 4 brilliant halves of football. It's not like the other halves were terrible. You gave up a couple big plays along the way.
Milliken Reserve is a farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces, and they want to build a healthy community around nature. They have done so there. If you've driven down on 6, you can see it on the left-hand side as you're passing Navasota, going down Wellburn from College Station the other way. You'll see it on your left-hand side. They're dedicated to conservation of a beautiful, healthy community. They've got 2,600 acres of open space and farms and trails. They have about 30 miles of trails and beautiful homes. They have an extensive network of trails throughout that wooded landscape, and they want to commit to maintaining and restoring that natural habitat. Homeowners at Milliken Reserve share in a legacy of conservation, which means generation after generation, they're going to come back to that pristine countryside place, an endearing resource and place to come together to relax and reflect, to explore and discover. Check out the website, millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com. Do me a favor, check it out. Here's a fake segment. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. Right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. As a reminder, they are not open on Mondays. So it's not a completely fake segment. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Give me a comment, give me a text, give me news. I don't care. Just give me something, Ella Ryan.
Okay, this was funny. Apparently, Mizzou players were saying that our defense, and especially York, were calling out their plays on the line. I thought that was really cool.
I feel like we've seen that a couple different times this year. You can watch Torian when he sees what's happening. He kind of goes,
cool.
Yeah, he just keeps pointing everywhere. All right, when we come back on TexAgs Live, a real segment. And that segment will include Billy Liucci at some point during it. He just left momentarily, moments ago, I should say. We'll get into that next on TexAgs Live. And we're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. Nick and I can have a little laugh together. Let's go to the angry elephant. News and Social Center. The tap dancing begins. It is 10 o'clock.
It's
So,
10 o'clock.
so it doesn't always start at 10 o'clock.
Billy's
it
always
starts-
busy at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, he's got stuff going on. Anyway, the question was on the YouTube page, by the way, I just took it away from you. If the Aggie Zen moment is live. No, it's not live. But we do update it from time to time. We
have an army of drones flying at all times. No.
we are. That's what TexAgs is. We've taken over the College Station airspace and Bryan College Station airspace, and we're constantly monitoring what is happening. No, not live, but we do record that and update it from time to time. All right, Ella Ryan. I don't know why I do first and last name with you. I don't know. It just flows
It
sometimes.
goes well.
Yeah, I could say
They're both punchy.
Ella, but like Ella Ryan. It just comes out better. Like Nick Savage. Sometimes I do that before Nick.
Nick Savage.
Okay. Okay. Let's just say people's names and just look. Ready?
Let's have fun.
Billy Liucci. All right, he's not here. Go ahead.
Okay, this is a question. As of now, is Marcel going to be invited to New York?
I don't know. I'm not privy to that information
Well,
just yet.
what do you think, obviously?
I still think he's got work to do. I do. He's trending. And like if the season ended today, yes, he'd be invited. Yeah. If he wins, if they go 12-0, yeah, he's going. Right? If they beat Ty Simpson in the SEC championship game, he's going. There's, but if he's got a couple more Heisman-esque moments, people have recency bias. So Fernando Mendoza, who's been fantastic, right? He has been great. He's got the most recent big play that everybody's going to remember. It'll be interesting how it's remembered in 2 or 3 weeks. But I think Mendoza deserves to be there. I think Marcel deserves to be there. I see why Ty Simpson would be there. I see, reasons why Julian Sayin would be there. It's just, to me, who's going to have that late season-defining play potentially? If Marcel goes into Austin and destroys them after last year's offensive output by that entire A&M team, then he might win it. If if he continues to put 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, he's going to be invited to New York, in my opinion. He's not. I don't think anybody has become a clear-cut winner. But this next 3 weeks will certainly, I think, be the difference on who wins it. Yeah, and you're right. XR Ram 2017. When they beat Ty Simpson, I don't know if Alabama's going to make it though. I'm just saying. Look, I think A&M is going to make it, but they're going to have to go 12-0 because the road to get to Atlanta at 11-1, it's difficult, right? You've got to hope that Ole Miss drops a game that you don't expect, for Georgia to lose a game down the stretch and not be the Texas game. Like, there's a lot of scenarios that have to happen. So, all right, what else do we have in there?
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that. Someone in our text chain agreed and said if the national crowd is crowning Mendoza for the Heisman drive, but the same drive happened in South Bend against a ranked opponent with Marcel, and that's his Heisman moment if that would have happened later in the season.
Yeah, I think that it's some of his timing, right? Mm-hmm. But let's see what Notre Dame does this weekend. Notre Dame's never going to get they're going to get the bump because they're Notre Dame, but they're not going to get, like, I think, because A&M beat them, they're not going to get the... People are going to discount their season because they didn't beat anybody, right? And because I think Miami has fallen back to the pack, although they had a great weekend, I think that people are going to forget about Notre Dame because it was A&M. It hurt A&M's chances, I guess, if you will. What else?
This was a true or false question we got. The playoff committee ignoring their own narrative about using strength of record and ranking A&M below Indiana will result in increasing the size of the chip on the Aggies' shoulder.
I don't know. I don't know. I think certain people read into that, certain people don't. I just think if you take care of your business, it doesn't matter, right? Like, if you're 1, 2, or 3, it does make a matter who you match up with later on. I understand all that. I would much rather be the 1 or the 2. So theoretically, you have an easier draw. But again, it's about matchups. It's about who you play. But whatever. Just win your. Kurt, you're right. Ohio State. I'm not going to say what you wrote on here. Has only played 1 team currently in the top 25. You can say about A&M. Hey, A&M's only beat. And then Notre Dame. Look. To me, I prefer, for my evaluations, the eyeball test. And then I look at stats and, the teams you played after that. But I look at A&M as a team that can be a chameleon into morphing into the kind of team that they need to be to win these games, right? So that's how I look at them. I don't know if others, everybody's got their own way of looking at things. It'll be interesting. By the way, I wonder if Mac Rhodes is going to do an interview this week after his whole dilemma. He got in trouble for, I guess, sideline behavior, or got into it with a player on the sidelines at Baylor or something to that effect. It'd be interesting if he's still going to be the spokesperson this week after the rough week he's had from his reason for A&M not being where because of their defense and whatever. So that being said, I just want A&M to keep doing what they're doing. Is even if it's a slow drip your way to a championship, right? Like if A&M has proven to be a much better team in the fourth quarter than all of their opponents, when this team gets to the fourth quarter of the season, I hope that holds true, right? Continue to win it. All right, if you want to be part of the conversation as we tap dance, you can do it at 979-693-1150. We call that the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, and there was something I wanted to rant on that I can't remember, so I'm trying to buy time to see if I can get to it.
Okay, well, I don't think it's going to be this, but this is just a comment from earlier. Someone said Missouri had played 2 ranked SEC teams before us, Vandy and Bama. We outgained both by 66 yards average and held Mizzou to less yards, and we scored 16 more points than they averaged.
Yeah. Again, people are going to pick their road trip and, they're going to pick their narrative. I read road trip on my screen. They're going to pick their narrative and run with it. Just win your games. Yeah, we're fine, right? And I hate to simplify it that much, but that's what it comes down to. I believe if you beat South Carolina, beat Stanford, beat Texas, and win the SEC championship game, you'll be the number 1 team in the country when the college football playoffs come out. If you drop one beforehand, you could potentially still be, I think, in the top 3. So don't drop one, right? Don't leave it up to I'd rather our perfect resume in the SEC speak for itself than anything else. And hopefully that includes an SEC championship game. What I did want to talk about was, this is not what I was thinking about a few seconds ago, because that thought is gone. Like I should have just jumped on it. But we will talk about, now we don't have to, but this is basically the kind of football program that I signed up for. Billy, I was going to go on a tangent because I wasn't sure when you were going to come back. That when I took the job at TexAgs, I remember saying at the TexAgs preseason kickoff where Gabe interviewed me on the stage, I remember saying, I think we're entering the golden era of Aggie athletics. That's what I thought at the time.
Way to go.
Yeah, I ruined it. Yeah, I knew you were
going to
go,
dude.
We were just,
this is the golden age of...
That's what I thought. We were coming off the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Hired Schloss.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Buzz was going to figure it out.
I think there's a tweet somewhere out there about that.
That Buzz was going to figure it out?
Just all of the above.
Oh, that you had?
Maybe I can blame that one on you. You got me all jacked up after the TexAgs kickoff party.
Did you actually watch when I was there? I think you had left already.
Your big speech got me all wired up, and I said, man, I got to fire off a tweet about this.
Now.
That won't backfire.
But I think right now, this is what I signed up for then, right? Like this kind of level of, I think Coach Early's going to get it figured out for baseball. Mm-hmm. Bucky's going to take a little bit of time, but I love the brand of basketball. And football is doing exactly what I thought we were going to get in 21.
So basically, it's a predictive golden age.
It's a predictive golden age. Yeah,
I do. I'm rooting like hell for Early and Bucky, and I think they're going to get there for real. I think they, we're going to talk to Bucky in a minute. That was a tough one yesterday. It's like that. Look, we're 3 games into a tenure. You're trying to mesh a ton of pieces, and they're without their best piece.
Who may be coming out soon.
Yeah, so we'll talk to him about that. But football, let's just stick at football. And really athletics across the board, like what volleyball's doing as we speak, like they could be gearing up, what Pat Henry and his crew did last spring. Weaver, like Chad, what we keep talking, we do this every time because you don't want to leave anybody out. There's so much good to talk about. But just sticking Aggie football. Mm-hmm. It was, I think people are getting and have gotten, I think Coach Elko and Kat and the group over there, whoever it is, and if I knew everyone, I'd say their names, but they're doing a great job. And this is a head coach that sees it and envisions it. So during the bye week, when you saw him on Bussing with the Boys and Barstool and
McAfee, I think.
McAfee and, he goes on Feinbaum and he gets it. That is not everyone telling him, hey, coach, we think you should. No, I got to work. And them twisting his arm. He understands the importance of all of that and branding this program. And I think he's kind of figured out the way he's perceived outside of A&M, like not how you and I perceive him, but not how our fans perceive him, but how the outside college football world perceives him. And he's embraced that and understands, hey, that's going to be my identity, and it plays for me, and it plays for Texas A&M, and it's going to help us. So he's got a great feel for that, but he's got a great team around him. So people are starting to really get to know Elko, and our fans, when he sits here and does an hour interview, or when he sits at the TexAgs kickoff and sits there for an hour and a half, and I'm trying to make him leave because I know he's got work to do, but he's wanting to interact with everyone. And people have gotten to know him. And the more he talks, and if you listen today at the press conference, you're always going to understand, like, this is a guy that gets it on a level that goes way beyond the X's and O's and game planning for what's ahead on Saturdays. And that's his real path of expertise. But I'm telling you, if you don't know this, Mike Elko left for Duke, and if you'd have given him true serum, but he's too good a dude to say anything about the job that Jimbo Fisher had after Jimbo hired him. But when he sat here for 4 years, I guarantee you, he's sitting there going, man, if this was my
I'd do this
job, I would do this. And it wasn't in a way of second guessing. I'm just saying internally he was thinking that. And when he left for Duke, if the opportunity presented itself for him to get back here, I know he was sitting there like, I would love nothing more. And whether it was at A&M or anywhere else, his thought process, I think from day one as a coordinator, but especially when he took over there at Duke, was how can I do this differently than others? How can I do this better? And that's no insult to guys like Clausen and Kelly and Jimbo, but he watched and learned and picked up the right, the wrong. But what he was focused on, I think, especially more so than the last two names I mentioned, I don't know much about Clausen, but Jimbo and BK, was I would have loved to have sat in those defensive staff rooms with him and Clark Lee at Notre Dame. Because I think Clark Lee is cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
And like Clark Lee sees the big picture for his program and like where he wants it to be. I keep saying Jimbo. Jimbo didn't. BK didn't. They seem to be. I don't even want to mention Jimbo and Brian Kelly together because I think Jimbo's work ethic was twice as much. It was just kind of focused too much on the one thing. Whereas Mike Elko sees everything. And the more you listen to him, you understand the big picture plan he has for his program, the singular season plan he has in terms of roster building and portal and things like that. You go look at like Onyedim, Craver and Concepcion. Who else did they add? Portal, Dayon Hayes, TJ Searcy, the defensive ends. Like everything he's done in terms of prepping for that singular season, he's also looking ahead to the future and then day to day. But like NIL, portal, branding his program, marketing and branding himself, his players, like everything that he's doing, making sure that there's enough money to keep coaches and getting assurances on that front, going out and kind of not being afraid to ask questions around here that haven't always been asked, especially by the head football coach, because they're so busy, whether that's recruiting or coaching or hiring coaches, whatever. But he's out there kind of going, within the chain of command, like, hey, I've been here a while now. This is 6 years for me. Like, can we do it this way? Or why aren't we doing it? He's not afraid to do that. And I think it hasn't been often that the head football coach is doing all of those things. But if you ask Mike Elko why he's doing that, because it's a lot, his answer would be, because that's what it takes to win championships. And I want to win championships, plural. And I want this program to be as good as it should be. And you hear him talk about that all the time. And he's he's unlocking things that we haven't seen unlocked here. And the obvious is the on-field performance, but it goes so far beyond that because he's trying to do this long term.
I wanted to, one of your tweets, A&M put 38 points up with 450 yards on the road versus a top 5 Missouri defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people have tried to discredit that, but
I don't give a damn.
What I was going to say is when you look at that,
wait, but let me tell them, I don't give a flying damn what you say or think. And if I argue with you about it, it's because I've got time. So right now, even though we are on a clock, I have time.
Are we?
So go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is I saw those dudes up close.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some guys, man. Like they play. Like I'm watching that game, and I'm thinking to myself, of all the teams A&M has played defensively this year, I'm trying to think of the ones that stood out. Florida stood out. Auburn stood out. Missouri, to me, seemed like the most imposing defensive line that A&M has faced this year. That's what, and I might be wrong, but that's what it felt like watching them play.
Missouri has players, and Eli Drinkwitz has done a tremendous job of upgrading, I think, the overall talent level there. Now, Mizzou has a nice history, Big 12 and even early SEC. You know, there's a guy named Gary Pinkel that put some pretty damn good teams on the field. They've had some players during that run there, but Drinkwitz has done a tremendous job of getting some high-end talent via the high school ranks and certainly via the portal. And you saw a lot of that on the field. But I think Mizzou in the front 7 is really good. Front 7, they might be as good as anybody A&M has played. You mentioned Florida. You mentioned Auburn, Notre Dame. They might be as good. I think in the back end, they're rough. And, you know, they basically were saying we're taking away the over-the-top plays because that's where you guys will kill us, and our offense isn't good enough to keep up with that. So they tried to take away that and pack it in against the run. And what A&M did, again, great game plan by Klein was just, okay, we're going to make you run. We're going to make you run sideline to sideline. We don't think you're fast. And kind of like, honestly, it's what Texas did to Vandy early in that game. We're going to make you run. We don't think you can get out here. And if you don't, you're screwed because then our running game's going to be there later in the game because you're going to tire out. Because you're going to go 3 and out. We're going to make you run. You're going to go 3 and out. We're going to make you run. And then we're going to run the ball straight down your throat with Ruben Owens and Morrow and E.J. Smith and company. So with that said, do I think Missouri is one of the 5 best defenses in the country? No. So you can say what you want, and I know what I meant when I said it, but were they ranked top 5 in total defense? Yes. Do I think total defense is the be-all, end-all of defenses? No. Do I think your little stop rate and all those metrics are either? No. I think people just choose what they want. I could go find whatever A&M's ranked the highest in offense or defense and make that my favorite stat, and that's the most meaningful stat, and I'd be disingenuous, just like every one of you losers on Twitter are. So with that said, I think that do I think Mizzou is a top 5 defense? No. Do I think they're one of the better defenses in the SEC? Yeah. Do I think they're the best? No. I think that's a quality SEC defense. I think it's one of the best defenses A&M will see this year. I don't think they face a murderer's row of defenses. But I know LSU I was told was a quality defense. I bet Alabama would tell you, and Ty Simpson, the Heisman contender, and the great Ryan Grubb and the great Kalen DeBoer, who I think, by the way, are really good. I think they would tell you that Missouri is pretty tough defense. Mm-hmm. I think that they would tell you as they struggled to get to 27 in Como, and it was a dogfight over there. We're kind of fortunate too with a bad penalty. Late hit that kept Alabama on the field to keep an early scoring drive alive. They might have only had 20 in that game. I think Bama would tell you that LSU is pretty tough defensively. A&M scored 49, and you give me all your disclaimers, give me all your caveats, okay? Because I got them too. We could do this all day, but you can give me all that, and I can say I don't care. A&M scored 38 against Missouri. Bama scored 27. A&M scored 49 against LSU. Bama scored 20. Everyone will tell me how good that Alabama offense, led by Grubb and Ty Simpson, is. And those same people are trying to do what they can to discount an Aggie offense that up until this week when Florida quit had put up more points than anybody against Florida. They still have put up more points than anyone against Notre Dame, including, 17 more than the great drive fit Brisket Riley and his offense did at USC. So, yeah, you can go up and down the list. So I'm being told now that Arch Manning's back and that offense is unstoppable. And I am reading that. I am reading how they had this massive turnaround because they lit up Mississippi State and they scored a bunch on Vandy. Well, guess what, guys? I don't know if you guys had your head in the sand or if you were drinking your sorrows away because your upset special of A&M didn't work out and the Aggies humiliated Missouri. So you were somewhere on like West 6th getting drunk and you missed the fact that Vandy gave up 500 yards to Auburn's backup quarterback. 500 yards to a quarterback, like 460. I don't know if you missed that, but scoring 34 against Vandy ain't that special. But with that said, this great Texas offense put up 20. They were lucky to get to 22 against Florida and gave up like 35 pressures. Marcel Reed didn't get touched in that game, and the Aggies scored 34. Like, we can go up and down the list of what A&M's doing to teams, and the only exception is Auburn, and that's a game where they outgained the Tigers 3-1, had a touchdown called back, had to settle for a few field goals, and I think even missed a field goal, and had like 13 penalties called against them. So that was like their worst offensive game, and you're watching that game going, they should have scored 30 plus. So it doesn't. My point of saying that was, you can put a quality defense in front of the Aggies, and it hasn't mattered. And sometimes it's slower in coming. Sometimes it's like 21 on 3 drives against Florida. No points. I was sitting down there with Ella and her family at the Mississippi State game. We're sitting there right before halftime. A&M's shut out. They finished with 31. LSU, 2 drives, touchdowns. Come out second half, 35 points in a row. Yep. Like, they can do it however they have to do it. It was a grind in the first half against Mizzou, but there was a game plan. A&M executed it, and they finished with 38 points, 7 of which were generated essentially by the defense. They finished with 38. Again, you can nitpick whether Mizzou's a top 5, and you can try to, like, catch something on Twitter. Factually, that was correct, depending on which one you want to use. Factually, it was correct. If you want to use scoring defense to judge, it'd be like if you want to use run defense to judge A&M, and I would say, oh, no, look at scoring defense. Oh, no, look at third down defense. Look at, right. My point of saying all that, it was a quality SEC defense that A&M shredded on Saturday.
Moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, Caldwell Country Chevrolet is the place to go. They're stocking up on new deals all the time. Their inventory is constantly growing, and they are south of those big city prices with no dealer add-ons. What you see is what you pay. They're a group of Aggie-owned alumni team is ready to roll out the red carpet for you and talk about the value that you're going to get. We're talking a free oil change for life as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. That's thousands of dollars in savings, and their pre-owned inventory is moving fast as well. You'll get top dollar for your trade-in, so don't wait. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. They don't know that Billy literally tried to fake punch me and jab my nose, and I felt the air push my face back. Way to go, Billy. Almost became the owner of TexAgs. It is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Why am I looking to my left? Oh. We'll have Billy Liucci in studio here momentarily, I assume. We're going to actually just wrap this up quickly because I think Bucky McMillan might be joining us here momentarily. And I think even Luke Evangelos, who watched the game in its entirety against Oklahoma State. I was at the TSU game. We were recording Luchador yesterday at halftime of the game against Oklahoma State. So we got to watch a little bit of it beforehand. So we'll have Luke in here. We'll kind of break things down. Let's, so we don't waste the people's time. Let's get some real intel and questions and stuff. So let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, LS, so we don't completely waste everyone's time.
Okay, this is a text from Chase in Houston. He said,
That's my guy right there, Chase. Old school.
Making a prediction today, this is going to be a weekend of chaos in college football. We've been waiting for it, and it hasn't happened just outside of coaching firings. But this weekend will be mass chaos.
You know what? I'm glad he brings that up. So let's really quickly look at some of these games this weekend in the top 25. Don't care about Clemson, Louisville. Don't care about Minnesota, Oregon. So far, I don't care about any game. Wisconsin, Indiana. South Carolina, A&M. It's time to get revenge on Lenore Sellers. Notre Dame at Pitt. That's where game day is going. All right, you got number 10 team Notre Dame and Pitt. Notre Dame's got to go on the road. Michigan, Northwestern. Don't care. Alabama, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Last year, Oklahoma, basically ended the chances of Alabama going to the playoffs. This time it's in Tuscaloosa. I think Bama's going to take care of business in this one, but it would be very interesting to see what would happen if Oklahoma wins. UCF and Texas Tech. Nobody cares. Except the people in those communities. Virginia, Duke. Not really interested. I'm getting to the chaos. Come on. Number 17, Georgia Tech, Boston College. NC State, Miami. 20, Iowa. 19, USC. Kind of an but yeah, at least I'm a little intrigued. New Mexico State at Tennessee. Don't care. This one I do care about, not for the reasons you may think. Florida visits Ole Miss. Why do you think I care about this one?
Care about Kiffin.
Correct. Is Kiffin auditioning for his new job at Florida? There's people in Gainesville that believe that this is where it's going to happen. So we got that. Got number 13, Utah at Baylor. Don't care. Purdue, Washington. Don't care. And UCLA at number 1, Ohio State. Don't care. Mississippi State at Missouri. Kind of care?
You skipped
kinda? Can I go kinda on that one?
You can go kinda.
All right. Let me
You skipped over Texas.
Do I need to hit a break? Is Bucky here? Oh, then I'm hitting a break. Well, we got a caller. Let's at least listen.
No. That's Bucky on the line.
That's
we'll hit a break.
Oh, okay. Let's get Bucky on the line.
You skipped Texas and Georgia also.
Okay, we'll hit a break. Sorry, Bucky, I didn't realize you had already called. That's my fault. We'll hit a break. Hopefully we'll get Billy in studio. We'll get Luke in studio, and we'll chit-chat some Aggie basketball. Daily Company is a family-owned, licensed, and insured business. They offer HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and generator services available 24/7. When it comes to the HVAC, it's about the thermostat repairs, refrigerant leaks, and furnace failures and seasonal tune-ups. Plumbing-wise, leak repairs, clogged drains, water heater installation, and maintenance to keep those pipes into top shape, electrical wiring, outlets, and upgrades for safety and efficiency. And when it comes to their generators, they'll repair them. They'll make sure that they're installed to be prepared, for power outages. They serve all of College Station, all of Bryan, all of Houston, all of Austin with upfront prices and no surprises. Contact the Daily Company at 979-260-2020, 979-2060-2020, or visit them at godaily.com to experience the daily difference. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. David Nuño, Billy Liucci, Luke Evangelist to talk a little basketball. We're going to go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. A couple of dominant wins at home and then a rough one yesterday. Let's go to and talk to Bucky McMillan here on the program. Bucky, thanks for joining us on TexAgs. How you doing, sir?
What's up, guys? Y'all doing okay?
Yeah.
Bucky, what's up, man?
So I'll just start things off. I know yesterday's probably, more on your mind right now, but just your first week of Aggie basketball, it being official, just your thoughts on the week it was.
We started off a couple weeks ago. We had a scrimmage versus Rice, and then we went to the exhibition, and then we had 2 home games, and then obviously we played yesterday. I thought in our exhibition versus Rice we're a little ahead of schedule. And I don't mean ahead of schedule where we're going to be in the future. I just mean just ahead of schedule, just based on just all new guys. Same deal versus Arizona State, slightly versus Northwestern State, and then kind of improved from Northwestern State to Texas Southern in some areas that we needed to. So I was pleased for the circumstances. And then yesterday we took a massive step backwards. We're behind where we need to be. And the thing what you got in basketball, because it's such a long season, it's about getting better every single game. And so pleased with the trajectory until yesterday. And I thought the things that we were doing well, we didn't do well. And the most important thing, we got out-competed in the game. That's just not typical of what you're going to see from our program, the teams in our program. And when our shots weren't falling, we got a little selfish on offense. Schematically, we'll get better. We know that. That's just part of it. But in the meantime, we got to compete and keep competing harder and harder and harder, especially in our half-court defense. So that was very disappointing. But I tell y'all, it's in our first rodeo with this. We will get it fixed.
Yeah, Bucky, how hard is it as a first-year head coach, and especially in this sport now as transient as everything is? It's a little different, I think, in football with so many players, but basketball, there is that, a complete roster turnover. And we're not going to sit here, because I know you don't want to. We're not going to beat this into the ground every week, win, lose, or draw, right? But early in the season, how difficult a task is it for you guys as coaches when you have a game like yesterday and you've got another big one coming up, like to understand like the balance between we got to get a lot better than what we showed on Sunday in a very short period of time, but also this is a long-term process here. It's like you said, it's a long season. It's not going to be decided in November or even early December for that matter.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think the thing what we got to remember, yes, we do have a lot of new guys. We've got a situation with Pop Isaac really hadn't been on practice with the team, and Baco's going to come back. Hadn't really practiced. We hadn't had our whole team practice together. So there's going to be some highs and some lows, and we've said that consistently. But the thing that we can't always be, because it's a decision, is the hardest playing team on that floor.
Yeah,
we can always be that. That's a decision we make, is that we're the hardest playing team, regardless of what happens. Even if it's going to be sloppy while we're figuring it out, and we make that decision, we're going to be unselfish. Now, sometimes unselfishness, there's a chemistry factor to it. Hey, like I said, Pop getting back, probably going to take a second for everybody to feel how to play around him and when Baco gets back. But while we're getting it figured out, we got to have that standard. And for the first 4 outings we had, we were, in my opinion, the hardest playing team on the floor if you looked at the game in totality. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, we didn't play as hard yesterday as we did in the other 4 games for whatever reason. And that's got to be what we hold our hat on until our chemistry catches up.
Coach, what did you see from Rashawn? I know he had the scary eye injury against Texas Southern, and he comes out in the glasses, then he takes the glasses off, but ultimately gave you 7 and 7 and a couple blocks. What'd you like from your captain on Sunday?
Well, he was a warrior. He played to a standard in the game. Like he played to a standard all the way through to the end. He's running through, trying to make plays. He made some bunnies around the rim, but he wasn't affected by the scoreboard. I think if you watch that game, the first 6.5, 7 minutes, we probably got really good shots to be on the road. We just didn't make them. And then that affected how we played after that. And then our offense wasn't as good, our defense wasn't as good. Rashawn played to the standard the whole time. And then, something that people don't know with the scouting report, I don't even know what happened to a lot of our guys not staying dialed in. Just wasn't trusting each other. Rashawn stuck to what we're trying to do. And in the end, that's gonna pay off. We're gonna have more and more guys jump on board. But he was who he was. He was a leader in that circumstance, and that's why he's the captain of our team.
Bucky, we mentioned Rashawn there. He leads the team in scoring against Texas Southern. Ruben with 18 against Northwestern State. Hill had 14 yesterday. When you talk about the different levels of talent, how do you manage that when you have different guys that could be their day on any given night?
Well, we got to use our depth well because we have 10 guys that are all, or maybe even more, 10 guys that are all good basketball players. So we got to make sure that we can make it a game that's an up-tempo game, and that we can make it a full-court game, and that way that we can use all 10 players in the games, so it's a higher possession game. But having said that, here was the most frustrating part with yesterday's game. That doesn't mean when we get to the half court on defense that we give in to anything. And that was some of the worst half-court defense I've ever seen in my life of any team I've coached. And that will change. That will change quickly. But to your question, how do we manage that? We exert a lot of energy, and we work really hard so that guys, since we have depth, say I may only get 3 minutes here at a time or 4 minutes, but by God, I'm going to give you all I got because I got someone that can come in right behind me and do the same thing.
Do you think, Bucky, when you talk about that half-court defense, for you to use that type of description of it tells me obviously you weren't happy with it. When you go back and watch it as a head coach and as a staff, is that frustrating to you because it was more effort related, or is it something where you go, okay, we're going to have to really work on this and figure out what the right mix is to get better on in the half-court game?
Yeah,
and by the way, I'm sorry, but also, how much is getting McKenzie back help in that regard when y'all do?
Oh, McKenzie's going to help a ton. I mean, it's a ton because it provides we were out physical yesterday. McKenzie adds another layer of that to our team, so that's going to be a big difference. I think obviously we're going to have to continue to work on our team defense. I've said it throughout my kids, starting with our team, is we're not the best individual defenders. That's just what our team is.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to paint a perfect picture in mid-April. There's going to be some players that are going to be good at some things and not as good at others. Collectively, we have a good shooting team, even though we didn't make shots yesterday. Not the best individual defender. So our team defense has got to be top-notch. Like, we can't have situations where we screw up ball screen coverages because we're not dialed into what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so I think our biggest focus has got to be cleaning up our half-court defense, where it's more team defense oriented, and everybody knows that hey man, there may be guys that get beat on the ball, but man, I got your back. I'm here to help. The offense is going to come, right? I know it wasn't our best showing yesterday, but the offense is going to get better and better. But we got to be able to get stops in the half court when we have those droughts on offense.
On McKenzie, he told the ESPN broadcast that he felt like he was 100%. He feels like he's working his way back. Where do you see him in his recovery process? And obviously with a pretty big game Friday, maybe his status, if it's questionable, or whatever you see with his recovery process at the moment.
He's doing great. He's done great, and it's possible you see him in action here this week. Now, he hadn't been able to practice for a while, and the team hadn't been able to practice with him. That's always the balance, and I think we're going through that with Pop right now. I think it's, hadn't been able to practice. Team hadn't practiced with him. So, the team chemistry could be a factor, but you could see him get some action later this week. It's possible.
Bucky, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
I got it.
Thanks, Bucky. See you Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Bucky McMillan on the
Get
Bucky
out
Catering.
there, by the way, to read. You got a big football game Saturday. You don't want to be out late Saturday night for that 11 a.m. game. Let me give you some advice, guys, for Luke and these young guys, right? Luke, don't go out. Don't be at Chimmy's and Good. Actually, I want to support the bars. Go out early. Do your dancing and lip syncing and all your TikTok dances I've seen you do out there before. Go do that. Go to Aggie basketball, or maybe go to basketball, go out for a little bit, and then go home early. So that's a nice, wholesome Friday night. Go watch the Aggies and UCF. Get Reed. That's your thing, Luke. Pack Reed.
It's a revenge game.
Get your fellow students to pack Reed. I may go hang out with them during the game. And then you go home and get some rest and be there early and loud Saturday. I think it's going to be the loudest, most kick-ass 11 a.m. environment we've seen at A&M. What's he doing?
He's got Adam Schefter over here. He's probably talking to agents all over the place.
What are you doing, Schefter?
Yeah, Pack Reed and Pack Kyle.
Yeah, it's too late. I lost interest.
Yeah.
When it comes to your money and peace of mind, it starts with the right team. Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors never text during the show, but they always are an independent fiduciary firm serving clients across Texas. No commission, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. 18 professionals on that team, including over 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA. Their expertise runs deep at Paragon because credentials do matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. So there's a text that came in a second ago. Freaking love, actually about 20 minutes ago. Freaking love when Billy goes off. Don't ruin it with a break, Nuño. LOL.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we were only
Thank
14 minutes late for the break on a segment that, I'm not going to say what happened, but something happened. You walked in a little late. That's it. I'm just trying to stay on the clock.
You know, a savvy host that understood his co-host. I'm not even a co-host. I'm a guest on this show.
You are the owner.
I'm a guest. I just kind of walk in because y'all.
No. You
I
are
just kind
the
of come in
owner of
because
the
y'all
show.
can't tell me no. No one really. I just show up. But
a savvy
host that knows, like, okay, I know this guy's idiosyncrasies, of which there are a lot. So do all the subscribers.
Yeah.
So do all my friends. I mean, I love when people like try to figure me out and break me down and like, well, Liucci, like, don't you know me by now? Like, y'all all do.
I
like,
do. That's why I do certain things.
So David should be like, all right, in my head, I'm like, he's running a little late. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, because the 9:20 screws me up.
See, this
if
is
you
where
give me a hard number at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, the 9:20 screws me up because I'll get in here at 9:20 and it's like 4 minutes till a break.
Let me just jump in. The number is 9 o'clock.
No,
I
it's
did no.
9:20.
The number's 9 o'clock, but because I've gotten used to you walking in at 14 minutes, I started booking a guest at 9 a.m. That's the fact.
No, the number is 9:20 because I think when we get really quality guests, like
Marty Smith, my guy.
So I want. By the way, are people being hateful because Marty Smith is like, he's too complimentary? Of Arch Manning, or they?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like guys. You can't do this every time. I'm like,
yeah, there is.
God, it's so frustrating. I don't even want to go into it. And it's a small group of y'all, and it's just like, and I've even talked to a couple of you that do this, and I'm not talking to you anymore. So don't call me about something else. Don't text me about something else, because don't walk up to me. There's a guy that listens every day, and you're listening right now, and you're going to come badger me today if I'm working out, and you're going to badger Nuño, and you're going to, and it's normally not badgering, but when you go and report to Hunter like he's the freaking boss around here, which he's not, I hate to break it to you, but when you go and report to him, it's like he tattles on you or me or Olin. He doesn't Olin. He's a huge Olin guy. So, like, don't waste my time with small talk. Just keep complaining, and maybe 5-10 years from now, you realize that's not worked for you. It has no effect.
Overtime?
So, well, yeah, let's do a little overtime.
Okay, because we got like 10 seconds left.
Go ahead, overtime. Right. But anyway, don't talk to me today. You're out.
Is he old?
No, probably like your age, my age.
Okay, well, I don't like him now.
Yeah, no, he sucks.
We'll see you mañana.